Did you know that Australia's oldest dam could be found right here in Sydney? And that it supplied the first fleet settlers with water when they moved out west to farm the land? Well, that's exactly where we're going to explore today. We're going to check out the dam and learn a little bit about its importance in Australian history. We're also going to check out the lake, the adjoining recreational facilities they have implemented here, and walk the entire loop track around the lake as well. Now, without further ado, let's get to it. Well, here we are, 25 kilometers west of Sydney CBD. We have in front of us Lake Parramatta. And that's the place we're going to first. We already have some information here, maps, images and the like. We have the walking trails you can take around the area here. We will be doing the entire loop track, which, as you can see here, about 4 kilometers, about 2 hours worth of walking. But first we're going to head to the dam wall, and we actually have some cool information here as well. It was actually completed in 1856. Another few cool bits of information. Apparently this dam was the 12th engineered dam built since Roman times, all the way back in 100 BC. It's the very first dam to be built in Australia, and it's the second dam built in the world that involved calculations in its construction, which was a new thing at the time back in the 1850s. On top of that, this is the very first large dam ever built in Australia, and it also holds the title of the very first arc dam built here as well. And that really goes to show how old and how important this dam was to the Australian people and the history of Australian water supply. Well, let's head down to the dam wall and see it. Interestingly enough, the area here at Parramatta Lake, where the water was dammed, it was actually the second place in Australia where the European settlers moved to. They followed the, at the time, unnamed river towards the west from the area that is now called Sydney, and settled out here to farm the land. Back in 1788, the same year they landed here. The dam wall is just over there. Well, here we have it, guys. Australia's very first large dam. You can see on the dam wall here as well, these are the original sandstone blocks they used back in the 1850s to build this wall. You can see the concrete section above. It was added later to increase the volume of the dam. Talking about the quarried stone here, apparently this dam is technically called an ashlar masonry dam, which apparently means that the stone itself was cut to a specific size and then stacked in order to build the dam. Curiously enough, 2 types of cement were also used here. One was from Portland, I believe that is an area in England. The other is Roman concrete, a mix used since ancient times. Just up in the tree there, we've got a kookaburra sitting there, along with 2 minor birds. Here we are a little bit closer to the dam wall. You can really see how old the sandstone here really is. It is all very damp as well. I don't know if there are small cracks and leaks coming out of the wall, or if it's because of the heavy rain we've had in the last few days. But it's pretty cool. To think that this is like 170 years old next year, that is insane. Just there on the rock we've got a lizard. How you doing there, fella? Now, although the dam here was built back in the 1850s, the very first water supply network built here was actually done in the 1810s, where a well was built for the communities living out here to farm. Back in 1818, Governor Macquarie ordered the townsfolk to build a dam across the Parramatta River for public use. Apparently, the original dam here held 136 kilolitres of water. Currently, with the new style of dam wall, I believe it held about 500 gigalitres of water. When you compare that to the smallest of the Upper Nepean dams that we currently use for water supply, it is 100 times smaller. Comparing to Warragamba Dam, it is about 4,000 times smaller in capacity. Now from here you can see a few boats and rafts, kayaks and the like that are available for hire. In saying that, they look a little bit old, shoddy and rickety. Not sure you'd be hiring these ones, but the idea is there and it would be pretty cool to do. Unfortunately, recently we've had a lot of rain, and you can see by the color in the water that all the mud has been swept in from the surrounding areas, so unfortunately it's not as clear as it usually is. You can see behind me here, all along the walk, there are lovely little seating areas. There are more just next to me here as well, like this, and I believe they are riddled throughout the walking trails here. And I was talking with a lovely gentleman and his wife earlier, sitting on one of these chairs just enjoying the view of the lake here. And as the fellow said, it feels very much like a natural bushland out here. And being that it's in the heart of Parramatta here, not far from the CBD of Parramatta as well, it is really nice to see natural bushland here. Well, as you can see behind me here, there's a little wharf where you could go fishing from if you wished. I do believe you're allowed to fish here. I believe, as you might imagine, that it's all fresh water, so you'll be looking at catching carp, probably bass as well. Just behind me here there is another feature of the park. This is Parramatta Lake Cafe. Great place to get yourself breakfast or lunch. I do believe it has a reasonable rating of just under 4 stars. Just up from the cafe there's another reasonably large picnic area. It has barbecues and undercover tables, plenty of bins as well. There's also a charcoal bin just over here. There's also a nice little kids play area at the top here. A little bit older than the ones we've been seeing recently, but still quite nice. Swings here, disability swing as well. We also have the slide, monkey bars, the normal really. Ahead of us here we have a dedicated swimming area. Several rules here apply, of course, which you do want to be careful of when you're out here. So here we have Parramatta Lake's dedicated swimming area, which technically only came to be in 2015 when it was finally opened officially for the public. In the history of the lake here though, back in 1909 when the dam was decommissioned as a water source, for the next almost 70 years it was a popular spot for swimming and other recreational use such as picnics, barbecues and the like. It wasn't until the 1980s that it was closed as a recreational location due to the poor water quality. and as we just said, it wasn't reopened till 2015. Interestingly enough, this tiny little beach has dedicated lifeguards on weekends and is completely sectioned off from the rest of the dam with these buoys and nets to keep out the fish and other wildlife so that it is safe enough for swimming. So along with all the features near this little swimming area here, there are heaps of tables and chairs, as you may imagine, just ready for a picnic or to relax watching the water. Well, from here we're going to start our walk. Oh, we've got some information here as well. Nothing too exciting. It's just the start of one of the walks. That is what it's called. 900 meters. And then it joins onto other walking tracks. Well, we haven't gone far down the trail here. We have an information board here talking about the traditional custodians of the land. They are the Parramatta clan of the Warragamba people. Apparently the word is derived from the Aboriginal word for place of eels. The original creek here was an important meeting place and water source for the traditional custodians of the land, or the Aboriginal people, and they use this place very frequently, which is really interesting. Alright, here we've left the fire trail, going along the first track. It is right next to the lake, and you can see along the trail here there are several spots where you can walk down to the lakeside. Now the entire trail here to go around the full loop, which encompasses all of the walking trails, is about 4 kilometers long and is estimated to take about 2 hours, but there should be plenty of beautiful spots along the way, just like this. So this is one of the bends in the lake, and as you can see, it's actually rather narrow, but I imagine it's quite deep to make up for it. So as you can see here, there are heaps of spots where you can come down to the cliff edges and get amazing views of the lake. I'm going to go down to this one as well. I've just yeeted down 10 meters off the track and found an interesting tank with pipes going into the water there. I wonder if this is an old pumping station or well. I really don't know. Along the walk there'll be several areas where we come across little streams filling up the lake. And here we officially have the first crossing. There are little stepping stones to go across. Here we have a sign taking us to a dedicated lookout. Warragamba Lookout. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, not bad. There's actually a seat to sit on too. Unfortunately the view is a little bit blocked by all the trees, but that also forms part of the lovely aspect out here. So you can see here there's a wide fire trail, looking trail, but it also says on the map that this is a management trail, and then we have the main trail to the left. So we're going to take it left and follow the edge of the lake. It's getting a little more rugged here. We're going down rock faces. have here? A little bird box, perhaps? Could be. Look at that. There's another one up in a tree. Just up there, there's another one. Must be a bird box, I suppose. Upper Lake Track. Alright. Now, as we come off the road there, or the trail there, we are just about halfway around the trail. Let's see if there's even more to offer. Well, that's an unwelcome sight. I'm not a huge fan of stone stairs because they're always so tall. These ones are unique though, they're literally carved out of the stone. We're now here. We started here. Almost halfway, but I actually think we do have a little bit further to walk on the other side. Which means we've got a little further than halfway to go. I just heard a bird. A familiar bird. Let's see if he calls again. Ah, there he is. The eastern whiplash bird. Coming off the beaten track here. Because I found a little tiny waterfall. Now this might just be the northernmost point of the lake here, which would mean following it opposite to where this waterfall is, we'll go along the Hunts Creek, which is the original creek that was dammed back in the day. Now out here it is incredibly wet and muddy. Yep. Oh wow. Whiplash bird. Anyway. There we are. Crossing the Hunts Creek. Definitely have some whiplash birds out here. Made it. Hello there. A little kookaburra just sitting right there. G'day, mate. I'm surprised he didn't fly off when I walked past. He's quite tame, really. I'm gonna whisper here. I'm hoping you can hear the little drops of water flowing off all the moss here. Just so much moisture in this area. Also found a little hidden track to a cool rock formation. That's really cool. You know, it'd be even cooler if we saw traditional drawings around here. I'll take my glasses off so I can see properly. Actually reminds me very much of Uluru. We saw the little caves they used. Of course not. The only thing here is graffiti. Like so. How disappointing. Well, we'll continue then. Wow. It's the first time I've seen natural wattle flowering out in the bush. Look at that. Wow, that is so cool. The only place I've ever seen that is at a botanical garden. Although who knows, maybe I've seen it and just didn't realise. But that is cool as. Oh, would you look at that? Not 10 steps further, we've got a glorious Banksia. I'll cover the sun there. Another great thing about this trail, so far my internet hasn't completely dropped even once on my mobile phone, because we're literally surrounded by suburbs on all sides. So the whole park seems to have coverage, which is really awesome. It finally has some more cool views of the lake. It's cool that we can encompass the entire lake with this walk. You wouldn't even dream of doing this on any of the other dams. Oh my gosh, I just saw a bush turkey down here. Yeah, there he is. Look at actual bush turkey in the wild. That is crazy. To think I see a bush turkey out in the wild as well. Well, in the middle of the suburbs technically. The only place I've ever seen one of those was at the Sea Acres rainforest in Port Macquarie. Well, how fascinating to see all these animals and birds and all the awesome views of the lake and the rivers, the creeks, the waterfalls. Beautiful. One thing I really do appreciate is the fact that there's signs all over these walks. Probably more frequent than every kilometre, which is really great. You really get to know how far you've got left, how much time it'll take to get there as well. And it shows you where you might find great lookouts. Alright, we can start to hear the traffic again, which means we're getting close to that main road. Not too far from here, we should get back to the dam wall and get some awesome views from the opposite side of the lake. I'm very keen to see what we can see from the top. We're not quite there yet, but I found another nice little lookout. Wattle tree, an Australian icon it is. It's even on our national crest. See the flowers behind our national crest are wattle. Look at all that. Swimming area behind us. Car park here. Crikey, another awesome view. Beach, dam wall right behind us. Finally made it back to where the dam wall is. Fantastic. Ah, they blocked it off. Something we can see from just ahead. Cool stepping stones. And we do have a small view of the wall straight ahead. Now I would like to note, if that wall ever collapsed through here, by golly, this would be underwater. So following the creek this direction will take you towards Parramatta River, which runs through the heart of the CBD at Parramatta. We've made it. And for reference, the dam wall lookout is somewhere we've already been. Well, we have a seat and I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to take 5 minutes and then give you my review. Well guys, we are done with our little adventure today. Very, very impressed by this walking trail and dam wall and its history as well. Really fascinating. It's really cool to see, to stand and to walk where the first European settlers of Australia got their water from. It's also great to see the place where the very first Australian dam was built, and to see the actual wall as it was 170 years ago. The walking trails are pretty good as well. Quite a bit of gradient, and the trails themselves are a little rough because it was on stone and roots rather than it being like gravel or something like that. There were slippery parts, there were steep parts, but all in all really cool to go around. You got to see all the lookout points. There was the little bit of a waterfall. You got to cross the river in multiple places, and the reserve here itself is actually pretty cool, and it feels really, really natural out here. There are a few roads, places for parking, and you get to see some really awesome natural bushland centered right here in the middle of the suburbs, which is kind of crazy. As for the facilities here, they were quite good. There were bathrooms, very old. The play area is quite old, could do with an upgrade. That's not the main reason to come here, I don't think. You would come here for the walking trails, you would come here for the awesome seating and views of the lake here instead. Oh, hello little birdie. Come to listen to my spiel. The thing that fascinates me the most here is the dam wall and its history. I can't believe that Parramatta has such a deep history of the European settlement of Australia. Anyway guys, thanks so much for joining me on this adventure. Be sure to subscribe to Dan Ventures Out to support the channel and to support me creating more videos for you guys, and we will catch you the next time we venture out.